All right, cool. So let's talk about Widgets R Us. I know we've got the review coming up here. I haven't worked on too many reviews in the past. Like, I think I did one when I was in North Carolina. I've done one here. So correct me if there's anything that I'm saying wrong on this. So I've spent an hour kind of trying to acclimate already. I went and took a look at last year's file and just walked through everything there, trying to make sure I understand things. I think I have a fairly decent handle on it, and I'll come ask you if I have questions, of course. Only couple things I really have a question about with that AR turnover. I noticed that it's kind of looking higher this year as I was just briefly looking through some of the stuff the clients sent us. Had they talked to you about that yet?
Yeah, when we had our year-end planning meeting, they had mentioned that they had some customers that were a little delayed, outstanding.
Sure, okay.
Obviously, we'll expect AR to be a little higher this year.
Sure, and I'm sure that's probably COVID related too.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I also noticed their salaries were up a good bit, as were bank fees. Do they talk about that at all?
Yeah, so since they had a pretty good year, I know COVID, even they had a good year with COVID, so they had to hire some more people, and then
Okay.
bank fees. I know they had to change their banking relationship
Okay.
in order to work with a bank that was supporting the PPP.
Okay, fantastic. All right. It's just kind of my understanding of how I'm going to work through this as well. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, of course, have this meeting with you. I've kind of finished the acclimation process, spent an hour on that. I'm going to go through the analysis portion of the review first. I anticipate that's probably going to be 5 hours. I'm going to go ahead and put together the financial statements, just top to bottom, just go ahead and work through the whole thing, make sure everything ties out. And I think that's going to take around 8 hours. And kind of take a look at my general checklists and general items and everything in that section. I think that's going to be about another 4. That checklist is going to be about 1, so total on general and checklist is going to be about 5. Put everything together, kind of do a little bit of self-review. It's going to be another 3 or so. And then I anticipate, I'm still pretty new to this, I'm probably going to get some review comments. So that's going to be about another 3. Total's going to be somewhere around 25. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, I think that's a great plan there, Parker. I think you can go ahead and get started. When do you think you could be done with this?
Yeah, I'm thinking that probably May 2nd is what I'm going to be shooting for.
All right, Parker. I think that works for me. Go ahead and do your review for Widgets R Us. If you have any questions, though.
Sure will. Sounds good.
Thanks, Parker.
Yeah. So I'm thinking put all the financial statements together, just top to bottom, work through everything. I think that's going to be about 8 hours with the notes and everything. About 4 hours for just my general work paper, since I'll already have done a lot of it as I walk through the financial statements. Checklist look probably same as last year, so about an hour on that. Take 3 hours, put everything together, tick and tie, do some review on that to make sure it all pans out. And then I figured, given my newness to this, you're going to have some comments, so it's probably going to be another 3 hours. Total's going to be about 25.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good plan there, Parker. I appreciate you taking the time, creating a thorough plan. Did you happen to see that they have a new bank this year, and that new bank requested comparative financial statements?
No, I hadn't seen that.
Okay.
It's probably good to know.
Yep. So we definitely need to incorporate that into your plan. Have you ever worked on a financial statement where you had comparative numbers?
I haven't worked on that previously, and I don't know if that's different. Like, I've done some compilation work with that before, but I haven't done that for a review, and I don't know what the requirements or checklists or disclosures you have to have with that are.
All right, yeah, so we definitely want to incorporate that into your plan. So there's going to be obviously some learning there for you to understand what's required for comparative financial statements. So go ahead and spend maybe 30 minutes doing some research there at Checkpoint.
Okay, great.
Just to see what's different about comparative financial statements, what might be required for that. And then obviously we're going to need to increase your financial statement preparation plan there.
Okay.
Since it's the first time we're switching from a single to a comparative year, it's probably going to be a good amount of time. I would say probably 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Kind of redoing the financial statements. So that's going to really impact your total budget.
Sure thing.
And the other thing just to keep in mind when you're doing comparative financial statements is it changes the reports a little bit, and a lot of tedious changes with plurals numbers and things like that. So just keep that in mind when you're going through. So I think that helps there. The rest of the review, it shouldn't affect too much in terms of the other stuff that you have to do. The analysis would still be the same.
Okay.
But since this is new, Parker, I think probably be good for us to kind of check in a few times during this review project. One, because you're new to reviews in general, but also since we have this pretty big change with the financial statement presentation.
Okay.
So when do you plan on working on this review?
I'm hoping to start up on next Tuesday.
Okay. All right. So maybe, if you're starting next Tuesday, maybe next Tuesday afternoon we can plan a time to meet.
Okay.
Just maybe let you get going in the morning, and then Tuesday afternoon, after you spend 3 or 4 hours getting started on the project, we can get together and see how it's going, how you've managing the project so far, and then probably it would be good to schedule another time at least for the next day that you work on it, so we can make sure we have some interim checkpoints there, just to make sure we're on schedule, that you understand what's necessary to happen, and that the comparative financial statement stuff's not throwing you for a loop or causing you a lot more time than what we're talking about now.
I don't want to get too in the weeds with this.
Yeah, I know it can be a pretty tedious project or process to kind of switch, but again, I don't want you to spend excess time of what's necessary. I want you to understand what's important with comparative financial statements, but I don't want you to have to spend extra time actually going through the process of changing from 1 year to 2 years, if we can kind of help out in that regard. So I think that's a good plan there, Parker, but if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll look forward to getting back together next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome.